Everyone, today we're going to take a look at this 2022 Genesis GV70. The GV70 is all new for 2022. This is a compact crossover. It shares its underpinnings with the G70 sedan, and that means it rides on a rear-wheel drive based platform. All-wheel drive does come standard. There are two different engines available with the GV70. This one's fully loaded. It uses a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. It makes 375 horsepower and 400 pounds-feet of torque. Competitors to the GV70 consist of, well, pretty much every other compact luxury SUV out there, and there are a lot of them. Competitors that stand out to me include at least when it comes to this V6 twin turbo model, you've got the Mercedes-AMG GLC 43. That's the lower tier AMG GLC. There is the BMW X3 and X4 M40i. So again, not the full-blown M model, but the lower tier M model. Then there's also the Audi SQ5. Those three stand out in particular. They're more premium luxury SUVs. Other just luxury compact SUVs out there include like the Lexus NX and RX. There's the Acura RDX, the Infiniti, I believe it's QX50, Jaguar F-Pace. There are a handful of others, but what makes the GV70 here unique, and what leads me to comparing it directly with the top tier compact luxury SUVs, is the fact that it's built on a rear-wheel drive platform. So I could go on and on about this vehicle. It is probably my favorite vehicle that I've driven this year, and probably my favorite new vehicle from the past few years. It's just an incredible value as equipped. This one, again, it's fully loaded, and it comes in at just under $65,000. And considering what you get for your money, this is a pretty compelling option in what is a pretty competitive segment. So let's do a little tour of the GV70 here. I'll show you a few of the reasons why I think it's so great, and then we'll take it out for a little drive. So the GV70 certainly wears a bold design. Whether you like it or not is subjective, but I can't imagine too many people would call this vehicle ugly. It stands out right away as a Genesis product. Of course, the Genesis design language is still kind of new, but if you've seen other Genesis vehicles on the road, you'll recognize this as a vehicle from the brand. Up front, huge shield grille, almost oversized, but it all works really well. And then this is becoming a staple of Genesis design. It uses these two-tiered headlights. So you can see the amber LED element there, and then there are 4 individual lights there with amber side markers. So given that this is a fully loaded Sport Prestige model, it comes riding on 21-inch wheels wrapped in Michelin Primacy Tour all-season tires. Moving down the side, one way you can tell you're looking at a sport model is this black strip that runs all the way down along the rocker panels and then finishes up on the rear bumper. Up top, they've done some fun things with chrome. So you can see the greenhouse is bracketed with these chrome strips here, but then at the C-pillar, the chrome dips down and finishes along the bottom, making for this really unique triangular shaped window there. Around back, more good stuff. GV70 badge there. It says Genesis across the tailgate, and then I guess that's an A, even though it looks like a 4, but this is an all-wheel drive 3.5 turbo model. Every GV70 comes with all-wheel drive. Another way you can tell a sport model is by the exhaust outlets. So there are exhaust tips in there. Can you see it? There you go. So there's a little exhaust tip hidden in there. This is more a design touch, but it has these big circular exhaust outlets on either side there. On a non-sport model, the rear bumper design is a little bit different. You can open the rear hatch by swinging your foot under the bumper there. I thought you could. Takes a minute, but as long as the key's in your pocket, you can swipe your foot under the rear bumper and the rear hatch will open. You can also open the rear hatch via this button that's hidden at the base of the wiper right there. Anyway, as for the rear cargo area itself, well, this is a compact SUV, so space is on par with other vehicles in this segment. This one has a blue interior. We'll get to that in a minute. But the nice thing about it back here is that it's still relatively spacious. Other SUVs will sometimes have really slabby sides right here, which cut into your overall cargo volume. Not the GV70 though, so you get the full space over the wheel wells. You get some cubbies in the side right here. Over here is a tie-down point. We've got a little clip for a net. It looks like you can fit a rollout cargo cover in here, although this one doesn't have one. They usually keep those out of these press loaners because I assume they get lost. And then you can put the second row seats down via a handle right there, although the headrest got in the way right there. I think you get the picture. Underneath here, there is a space saver spare, but it's hidden. So if you peek under there, there's your spare. Pretty small. Yep, that's a donut. Otherwise, there's the owner's manual back here, which is an interesting place to find the owner's manual. There's your jack, and that's about it. Let's take another look at the key here. This is one of the most complicated car keys I've come across. You'll see this key layout on other Genesis models and on a bunch of Hyundai products. So lock, unlock, push and hold to open the rear tailgate. Then here's your panic button. Press and hold there for remote start. And then this is the feature that was marketed as Smart Park on the Hyundai Sonata and other Hyundai products. Not sure what Genesis refers to it as. They just brand it a little bit differently. But it's the same thing. You can stand next to the vehicle and make the car pull itself forward and backward. Let's see if we can get that to work. So we'll try locking the car, pushing and holding the remote start button. Okay, the car's now on, and then let's give this a try. So I'm standing next to it. There aren't any obstructions in front of the car. Let's see what happens. Cameras have come on, and there we go. Let's see how far it will go. It's still going. Wow. Let's see if we can make it pull itself out into the street. It's getting a little sketchy. I'm now walking with it. There's no one coming. Okay, it's just gonna pull itself out into the street. Okay, so let's make it go back now. Oh, so now it sees something it doesn't like. Before it was willing to pull itself all the way out into the street, and now it's shut off, hanging halfway into the street. Okay, so lock. Turn it on via remote start, and then sounds like the parking brake is off. Okay, now we're moving. I'm walking with it, still holding the button. As soon as I let go, the car stops. So really short response time there. So if I had to stop it in the event of an emergency, it would stop right away. Start again. And here we go. And that's good. Okay. So this car just drove itself from here to there and back without me being in the driver's seat. I can't really think of many practical applications for this feature. If you got fast enough with it, yeah, you could theoretically pull the car out of a parking spot if the cars on either side of it were parked a little bit too close. Yes, I guess that would make it easier for you to get in. Yes, I would probably use this feature in that situation, but I get into that situation maybe once, maybe twice a year. So yeah, the amount of value you'll get out of this is probably pretty low, but it is certainly a fun party trick. So, okay, let's move on. Okay, so the car is off again. Let's just take a quick look at the window sticker here. So this is a 2022 Genesis GV70 all-wheel drive 3.5T Sport Prestige. All that tells you is, yeah, this car is fully loaded. And fully loaded, it comes in at $64,045, which includes a $1,045 destination fee. That is a really compelling price tag considering everything you get with this vehicle. Fully loaded stuff includes all of that. You can take a look there. But fuel economy, keeping in mind this vehicle makes 375 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. That's sent to all four wheels via an 8-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters. Keep in mind, though, it's a rear-biased platform, which means I know from experience you can induce oversteer in this vehicle. It's a really fun car to drive. Fuel economy, though, comes in at 19 city, 25 highway, and 21 mpg combined. That's fine. You're probably not buying this vehicle for the fuel economy anyway. One of the big selling points of Genesis is the warranty. So this car comes with 3 years and 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. And on top of that, where is it? The Genesis warranty is 5-year, 60,000 mile bumper to bumper new vehicle warranty, and then a 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. Like Hyundai, like Kia, another selling point of Genesis is that these cars come with a really killer warranty. And the mindset there is, there's not a lot of data out on these vehicles yet from a reliability standpoint. So in order to calm the nerves of any potential customers, Genesis just throws you a really killer warranty so that you don't really have to worry about reliability. Although I have to say I have no reason to think that this vehicle wouldn't be just as reliable as any of its competitors. As for this interior, it is really cool. Genesis does a great job of tying the designs of its vehicles together, but they don't all look the same inside. And case in point with the GV70 here, this interior isn't shared with any other Genesis product, but you can readily identify it as a Genesis. You'll notice that this one has a blue interior. Probably looks like black, but that's actually a really dark blue. It's called Ultramarine, and it's really cool. It's really refreshing to see an interior that isn't just black or beige or gray or even red. This blue here is just really cool. And if I were buying one of these, I would definitely go for this blue. Let's touch on this infotainment system. This is shared with every other new Genesis product on the market. It's 14.5 inches diagonal, super high resolution. And what's nice is it comes with this control dial down here, but it's also a touchscreen. So it functions much like a mobile phone. So think of this as your home page. You can swipe or you can just push here to make that go away. You've got all these icons on your home screen. So you've got buttons right here for back, home, and menu. You can scroll to cycle through the different options there. And of course, there are all kinds of unique selections like sound of nature. You've got some different adjustments for the seats. These seats have adjustable bolsters, and they also have a feature that kind of acts as a massage. Lots of fun things going on with these seats. They're really nice, but let's just go home here. So scroll functionality is pretty good. It feels really nice. This thing feels good. It also goes left and right. So lots of different options for controlling this system. We see a lot of cars that just rely on touch screens, which is fine. Others rely on a control panel here, which is fine. In my opinion, as long as the screen is also a touch screen, and that's the case here. So I really, really like this Genesis infotainment system. It's probably one of the most intuitive that I've come across. HVAC controls are right here, and this is a really minimalist panel. So this is actually a screen. It's a touch screen. So you can turn on the heated seats, turn on ventilated seats. It does give you a little bit of feedback, much like an Apple trackpad. So it kind of vibrates there when I touch it, kind of like a click feature. So fan speeds right here, pretty intuitive. Once again, heated steering wheel, 2 different stages to the heated steering wheel. And then here are your temperature dials, and they stick out of this panel right here. So when you move these, all that moves is this silver ring here. The screen readout stays in place. And it feels really good. It feels really high quality. It feels substantial. Yet another great design element of this interior. Here's the steering wheel. So you get paddle shifters. They function much like buttons. They're kind of a big part there, but not a whole lot of range of motion there. Onto the two things, and there are really only two things that I don't like about this interior, and they're really minor things. This is a fully digital gauge cluster, but I don't know if you can tell, it's really low resolution. It does have a 3D feature, which doesn't add a lot of value. To me, it feels kind of like a gimmick, but 3D or not, This screen is much, much lower resolution than this screen and this screen, and therefore it kind of feels out of place. It's surprising to see an oversight in a vehicle that otherwise gets so much right. The other little criticism I have is no USB-C. Kind of surprising. Genesis is on the bleeding edge of a lot of technology, so it's surprising that they would not include USB-C ports, but nope, you just get USB-A, well, 2 USB-A ports, and then a wireless charging pad right here. So the wireless charger your phone kind of sits right there, and yeah, pretty easy to get it aligned there. It's one of the better wireless charging pads I've come across. A couple different drive modes. So you've got Eco, Comfort, there is a Snow mode there, and then Sport and Sport Plus. And you can see Sport Plus turns off stability control, and that's when you can induce that oversteer, which makes this car pretty fun to drive. Your volume knob is right there. It's a roller, kind of barrel roller. And then there's your radio tuning on the right there. Again, redundant controls, really easy to use. And yeah, overall, just great design inside this interior. Parking sensors, and then this pulls up your backup camera or your 360-degree top-down camera. You can see weather stays over here. They do a really good job of distributing information across this big screen. Some competitors offer big screens, but the layout kind of cancels out what could be a real benefit of all this screen real estate. But as you can see, the GV70 here really makes good use of the screen size. So back view, top-down view, and then weather there. And then you can choose some different options there. You get a whole 360-degree view. And again, the usability of this screen is really nice. This touch screen here functions exactly like the touch screen on a smartphone, say. And yeah, again, that's not the case for all competitors, but the GV70 here, just it nails it. It gets it so right. And yeah, this is a really cool feature. Anyway, moving on, center console, you've just got a 12-volt outlet here, and not much else in there. There's a little tray. That's about it. 2 cup holders. Unfortunately, they're kind of small. Auto hold, and then here's your transmission selector. So push for park, go left for reverse. This feels really nice. It snaps back to center really quickly. It's kind of a translucent design there. Nice texture on the side. Neutral is in the middle, and then drive is all the way over on the right. Let's go and check out the back seat. Okay, here we are in the second row of the GV70. You can see right off the bat that there is a recline function. So this is the seat back in an almost vertical position. This is the seat back kind of reclined. Here is the center armrest, just 2 cup holders in there, nothing else. Again, this blue interior is really fun, and then there's suede inserts in the seats. Here you've got independent HVAC controls with a heated second row seat, air vents, even the little adjusters on the air vents just feel really cool. There are a lot of minor design touches in the Genesis GV70 here that just really put it over the top. On the backs of the seats, there are nets on both seat backs. Here are your window controls. It's a big paddle there. I've never seen anything like that in any other vehicle. Even the way the windows close is really nice. There are shades, so if you have kids riding in the back seat, you can just put up the window shade and block out the sun. And then even this little coat hook right here is finished in like a brushed aluminum material. Yet another great little design touch. Big panoramic sunroof overhead. Let's go ahead, open that. So it lets a lot of light in, and the opening is actually pretty big as well. As for space, there is a pretty large transmission hump, which is a little bit of a bummer, but again, this is a rear-biased all-wheel drive system, so maybe that's a price you pay for this really fun-to-drive, rear-wheel drive biased layout. But knee room is okay. I wouldn't say this is the biggest SUV, and again, it's a compact, but even as far as compact SUVs go, it's not exactly huge back here, but I'd be plenty content riding in the backseat of the GV70 on a long road trip. Here you can get a little bit better look at the blue interior. Again, this is called Ultramarine. Okay, driving this 2022 Genesis GV70 3.5T Sport Prestige. This is one of the best new vehicles you can buy. And the big driver of that is the price, the value that you get from this at $64,000. You cannot get this caliber of vehicle at this price point from any other manufacturer. There's 50 miles per hour, so this car's definitely fast. 0 to 60 in, say, comfort mode. It probably comes in at a hair over 5 seconds. We'll go straight to Sport Plus just for fun. Car downshifts. Yeah, throttle response becomes a little bit more urgent, and let's see if we can. Yeah, Sport Plus is fun. You can induce a little bit of oversteer. Couldn't really do it right there, but outside of the performance, which is good enough, far more than most people will ever want or need. The rest of this car is just phenomenal as well. The layout is really cool. It's a calming interior, especially in this ultramarine blue. Layout's intuitive. The buttons feel good. There's nothing wonky. They didn't go and ruin it by trying some new layout or making the infotainment system not a touchscreen or anything screwy there. It's just, it's intuitive, it's sensible, it's really nice, and yeah, you can't beat it. You really cannot beat this, especially at this price point. Here's our first speed bump. That one was at about 25 miles per hour, felt really good. This does have an adaptive suspension, so the shock absorbers have an electronic component that works to make things either more sporty or more comfortable, depending on what you want. Second speed bump felt great. Here's our third speed bump. We'll go over this at about 30 miles per hour. Wow, that felt really planted. Seldom does anything remarkable happen when I take a vehicle over those speed bumps. I always kind of make it a thing, but it's kind of not a thing. But this car still felt above average when I took that big speed bump there at about 30 miles per hour. Felt really planted, and I have to think that's just, it feels substantial. This feels like a very substantial vehicle, but I have to think that's also the adaptive suspension working to level things out as quickly as possible. The steering has a really nice weight to it. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this car. Backup camera is super high resolution. I know we took a look at it earlier, but the top-down view is really nice. Gives you a huge, wide view from the 360-degree camera system. And then the backup camera is good too. It's high resolution. The colors look good. It's not oversaturated. It's not washed out. It's not overly grainy. This is what a backup camera should be in 2022. So there's your look at the 2022 Genesis GV70, in this case in 3.5T Sport Prestige trim. So in this case, fully loaded. Everything that this car does, it does exceptionally well. I mean, this vehicle is top notch in pretty much every category in terms of design, inside and outside. That's subjective, but to me, this is one of the most interesting new cars on the market from a design standpoint. I mean, this blue interior is phenomenal. The red accents are really neat. The way they've used chrome and piano black throughout this dashboard and center console here is just really, really nice. The interior here is just a really nice place to be. The infotainment system is super easy to use. This 14.5-inch screen is not only big, but it's really well laid out. The software, the user interface is great. I love that it uses this control pad on the center console here, but it's also a touch screen. So if you need to type in a navigation destination really quickly, you can go to the touch screen. But if you're just driving along, you can use the dial here, which is easy to use. Not many automakers get all that right, and Genesis does right here. As far as value goes, I mean, aside from the price, before even getting to the price, this is probably the best compact luxury SUV on the market. But then when you consider that this car only costs, and it's fully loaded, $64,000, it's crazy. It's mind-blowing. I mean, this car makes 375 horsepower and 400 pounds-feet of torque. That's more than it needs to make. And yet, they're just giving you free horsepower. It's fun to drive, it's great to look at, and it's a tremendous value. I think anyone in the compact luxury SUV market, anyone shopping in this market, would be crazy not to give strong consideration to the GV70 here. The reason Genesis offers all this value is because it's still a relatively new brand. So when you're a company like Mercedes-Benz, you've built your brand over the years and you can sell vehicles on your brand alone. Whereas a company like Genesis doesn't yet have a really strong brand. It's growing, but the brand still is relatively new. So in order to sell this car, in order to sell cars, they have to offer people real value, because nobody's just going out and reflexively buying a Genesis like people probably do BMW and Mercedes products. So to the discerning consumer, I think Genesis is a tremendous value. You get more from Genesis than you do from BMW and Mercedes, because again, with BMW and Mercedes, people are just buying the brand name. Here, in order to sell you on this car, Genesis has to offer real value. So on that note, and with everything else I just said, yeah, I think this is probably the most compelling vehicle in the, it's the most compelling vehicle in the compact SUV segment. Feel free to argue otherwise, but I think this is a pretty strong case for maybe not only the best vehicle in the compact SUV segment, but one of the best new vehicles on the market today. So that's my take on the Genesis GV70. I love this car. Thank you for watching.